Okay, hi kids. So it's Miss Grande, and obviously we're gonna be having to teach remotely. So I'm just kind of doing a little video just to kind of touch base with you guys of what that's gonna look like. I know for every single grade, you guys all have access to different art supplies normally in the art room, and we won't be able to do that obviously while you're away. I think it's actually probably best just to let the room sit empty for 14 weeks where no one touches any of the tools, so that if there happened to be any bacteria being exchanged, that it would just sit and then die within the room, because it needs usually just a couple days of no one touching it for the bacteria to die. And yeah, I don't think that's a bad idea. So what does that look like for our lessons, basically? So my plan is that the grade 8s, obviously you guys are using colored pencils right now for your color wheel. Instead of doing a larger chalk unit later, we're going to do a smaller unit where you still get to learn the same stuff, but it's not going to be as stressful trying to fit everything in. Okay, so I'd like for you guys to instead, of course you need to finish your colored pencil color wheel where you're blending your colors with all your primary colors. You're not allowed to use secondary colors that are directly in the pencil. You have to mix everything. Same with your tertiary colors. You then have to label it. Feel free to steal as much inspiration from Pinterest as possible, obviously without copying something completely, or any other media that you're finding like Tumblr or even just Google Images. For inspiration only, we're not using it to copy, right? We're not replicating someone else's art. We still need to be creative. So that's for the grade 8s. So you guys are probably going to have roughly the same due date for that. And since you guys are away for 3 weeks, I figure, you know what, let's just make that what they work on. You guys are just going to work on that colored pencil assignment, and then obviously your sketchbook hours, which you'll have 3 weeks for now. So I definitely expect to have 10 hours after you guys return from that 3-week break. Yeah, so basically all I'm expecting from my grade 8s is to have their color rule assignment done and their sketchbook hours. For bonus points, I thought I would shake things up a little bit. For bonus points, if you guys want to make a art piece using only your primary colors and then the colors you're able to mix with them, it can be in your sketchbook. It doesn't have to be on a special paper or anything. If you do one of those, I will give you bonus points as well, as long as I can tell that you've mixed all your colors. Okay? Okay. Grade 9s. So you guys are in a similar kind of position where you're going to be using colored pencils for your pointillism project. Obviously, I'm not going to rush you guys into glazing your pieces, so don't worry about those right now. If we can get that wrapped up maybe before you guys leave, but it takes time to bisque everything, so we're going to see how that goes. I'm going to see if I can get a bisque fire in on Monday and Tuesday, and then maybe you guys can glaze like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday if you want to get a head start, but you're not going to have to do that, so just don't worry about it, okay? Not right away at least. So I want you guys just to focus on finishing your pointillism project and also work on your sketchbook hours, right? And that is still 10 hours of sketchbook with your reflections, right? You have to answer the 4 questions. You have to have a time count, right? You have to tell me exactly how long it took you to work on each piece or each section of your book. You have to be able to reflect upon your work, right? What can you do differently when you look at it? Even if you're happy with it, there's always ways you can improve, right? So maybe look at an area where you struggled a little bit. If you didn't struggle at all and you felt like you were happy with the piece, how can you improve and become better if you were to draw it again in a year or something, right? Like, I want you to really look at your pieces and reflect about how you can get better at it. You have to then let me know the medium that you used, right? You have to tell me, and the subject matter, right? Like, you have to tell me what it is. Some of your drawings can be a little abstract. Sometimes I just want a little clarification. So if you can just let me know like what your drawing is, and then lastly, tell me why you did it, right? So what was your inspiration? What triggered that whatever brain activity that happened that made you want to draw that thing? Okay, so it's basically a what, which is your subject and your medium, right? A why and a how, right? How would you improve? And then obviously how long, okay? So make sure you complete all of those. Detailed responses would be very much appreciated, because then I can give you the feedback that I think you would benefit from, okay? Grade 10s, you guys are working on your discordant harmony right now, okay? So some of you guys are using acrylic paints. If you don't have access to acrylic paint, come see me. I do have some of those paint tubes that we've been trying to finish off, right? Because our sustainability program and in our art programs, we're trying to limit the amount of containers that we're going through, right? But unfortunately, we do have to use up the paint that we have before we can start anew. So we're going to do that. You guys come see me if you need. I can give you one of each of the primary colors. I'm out of white tubes, however, but we do have black tubes. So if you want, I can give you a red, yellow, blue. If there's a specific shade that you need and we have it in the tubes, I'll let you take that home with you. And then if you need white paint, I'm going to have to just put that on you and ask you to go out and grab some. Art supplies is going to be super cheap right now because everyone's buying toilet paper. So now would be the time to actually stock up. I know there's a couple stores that are having a really big sale actually because of all of that. And then if you're worried about germs, like when you're going out, just feel free to get a little Clorox wipe or a Lysol wipe, wipe it down and disinfect it, or you can just leave it alone outside for 2 days and all the bacteria will die and it's safe to use, okay? So that is for your acrylic paint. I do have some watercolor palettes that I can lend out. However, there's like, I think 30 of them and I have 200 students. So it'll kind of be a first come, first serve for that project, for that medium, I mean. But come see me. Some of you have art supplies at home anyway, so if you can just use that, that would be super appreciative. I understand that if you can't get a specific shade, I'll be sensitive to that, considering that we're having to do all this, right? So anyways, that's my grade 10s, and so work on your discordant harmony. It will be due when you come back, and I'm going to be allowing you guys to take it home, so I expect it to be completely finished when you guys come back, that after that first week of April, okay? And you have to complete your 10 hours of sketchbook as well. Same responses as the grade 9s. You guys know the drill. I shouldn't have to tell you. Okay. Lastly, we have our grade 11s and 12s, and then my 11-12 art histories. Okay, so for art history, on our Power School and on our Yammer, you will see an outline soon with your next paper that's due. I'm giving you guys 3 weeks to write it. I'm only asking for 800 words, between 500 and 800 words, but you do also have to find visuals, okay? Now, I'm going to try and be a little bit more topical with this art history paper. I want you guys to look up an artist that has had to make art in time of adversity, okay? So either an artist who maybe made art through wartime, or an artist who, had a really debilitating illness and they had to create because that was like their therapy, right? Or maybe there's an artist who went through like a really rough time financially, because it's like you have to buy art supplies. How are you supposed to make art if you can afford it, right? So there's lots of different struggles that artists have faced, and a lot of the time those artists make art to cope with it, right? Like they make art to kind of just express like the difficulties and the struggles that they're going through. So for your art history paper, if you guys can write a 500 to 800 word paper, format will be accepted as MLA, APA, or Chicago, okay? If you aren't sure about those formats, go to purdueowl.com. Like I've said before, they have everything outlined. I don't care which format you give me, because technically I could use all 3, right? Like it's a book report, kind of, because it's like an artist report. So that would be like the MLA format. APA would be the research aspect of it, and then Chicago because it's art history, okay? And so each of those like methods of writing I will accept for that, okay? However, if you pick one, stick with it, okay? You can't have 0.5% Chicago and then throw in an APA format, okay? I want it to be consistent. And then you do have to include your images, and you have to cite everything properly, okay? So your works cited, your bibliography, etc., everything has to be within proper format, and I will be looking for that, okay? Awesome. Grade 11 and 12, your final project, okay? So obviously you guys aren't going to be able to work on your Photoshop project unless you have access to it at home. I think there's only 2 or 3 of you who actually use Photoshop, I guess, outside of it. So outside of school. So I just want to make sure that you guys know that I'm not going to be expecting you guys to do a lot of crazy like stuff away from school if you don't have the medium, right? So what I'd like for you guys to do is to take this project home that you're working on, right? This is your character development project. Yeah, so you're going to be taking that one home, and I want that finished and handed in when you guys return after the 3-week break as well, okay? You also need to give me your 10 hours of sketchbook, and I also want you guys to start planning what you're going to do for your final. If you're finished your other project, I want you to start, okay? Start with whatever you have available at home. If there's a specific medium that you know I have, or paper or supplies that you need, and you know what you want to do, come see me this week and I will make sure that we get everything you need for it, okay? If there's anything that I don't have in the room, that is on you. You guys have to go get either art supplies, or you can work with what you have at home. That's totally fine, okay? And it is an open medium project, so if you feel like you're more you're more of a cyber Sally, like, you feel free to use computers if that's what you have at home, right? I'm not going to limit what your medium is. It is a choose your own medium project, but you have to be consistent with the themes, okay? So we're going to talk about the difference between a theme and a tone. The whole project, because it's a series of work, has to have a theme, okay? I don't care what the theme is. Obviously, if it's something more personal to you, it's going to it's going to be more interesting. It's going to be definitely more relatable, and it'll be more, I guess, revealing of who you are, what your character is, because that's what we like to see. I hate seeing generic art. It's like the most boring thing in the world. I hate when people take things from other people and they don't understand that if you're not citing them and giving that artist props, it's stealing. Like, I really want to see you guys, like, if you have inspiration from other artists, tell me who they are, right? Demonstrate that you understand that maybe your idea was not the most unique because someone else came up with it, but it relates to because of, and then you insert whatever thing that makes it personal to you, right? That's what makes art interesting. So basically, that's where we're at with that. I want you guys to make sure you have that theme, okay? So whatever the theme is, you need to have between, well, we said 3 and 5. I'm gonna say between 2 and 5. So you need to have a minimum of 2 pieces, okay? If you want to do 5 smaller ones, that's completely fine. The scale is like up to you. I'm not gonna get mad at you if you only have 2 pieces, okay? But the tone, okay, so let's talk about tone. The tone of the piece, basically, can differ between pieces. So if you want to do 2 pieces and your theme is, I always use this as an example, say your theme is like a circus, right? Maybe one picture is, about how sometimes conditions for animals isn't like the best, right? So you have like maybe animals being abused or some kind of representation of that. How sometimes performers tend to have to, like, not all performers obviously, but like sometimes performers are there because it's rough life, and they kind of live in like a party kind of environment, right? Where they work and then they make money and then they party and then they, right? Like their life is kind of not the most balanced, right? So there's definitely a rough side to being a performer, or an artist for that matter. And then you could do the other side, where like circuses have entertainment and art and dance and music and like, yeah, sometimes like when they use animals, they're sustainably done, right? Like these animals are treated like movie stars, and they have like everything that like you get like fancy horse hoof pedicures and oil massages and like, you know what I mean? Like there's different perspectives. Same theme, right? You've got like the dark history of circuses, and then you have like the more artistic vision of it as well, right? Same theme, different tones, okay? They don't have to be different. If you want to be like a whole series of work that speaks about the same theme and same tone, just to like kind of make sure it's consistent, that's fine too. It's your show, right? We're going to make sure that we do our critiques. I'm going to say probably around the 1st or 2nd week of May, okay? just because I'm supposed to be having my surgery later that month. I'm not sure if it's going to get pushed back because of all, you know, the people that might be in the hospital or whatever. I don't know what the situation with that's going to be, but I'm going to plan as if it's going to be there so that we're organized. And then if everything is on schedule, then there's no problem. Okay, so I want us to have our critiques by the first or second week of May. That is for the grade 11s and 12s, okay? So I'd like to get those done early, and then we can start that other assignment so that if a sub takes over, there's no difficult transition, right? Like, so you'll basically have your final mark before I leave, okay? Awesome. I just wanted to say I'm just so happy that I have such amazing students. You guys have been really great after a bunch of really bad news in a row. I mean, you guys are resilient. You guys are the toughest kids ever. I'm very proud to be your teacher, and I'm gonna miss you guys. It's gonna be a hard couple weeks without my kids. Like, that's why I'm a teacher. I'm there because you guys make my day interesting. Okay? If I wanted to talk into a computer screen, I probably would have found a career that had something to do with that. I'm really gonna miss our interactions. I'm really gonna miss seeing your art start from like these little small sketches and then the hair pulling out, breakdowns, and then at the end you got this beautiful art piece that I knew you could do all along, because I've got the best kids ever. I'm very, very proud of you. So, okay, I'm not gonna get emotional. So we're gonna talk this week. If you are going to be going away, please make sure you and your family follow the CDC protocols and what the just basically what the Canadian government has been saying about if you're traveling, you need to come back and maybe just make sure you're self-quarantining. If you're feeling sick, get checked out, do all that stuff. You guys are going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine. Just think of it as like an extensive art program, and you get to go away and make art in a chalet in the north or whatever, and then you come back with all this amazing art and you get to show it off to all your friends and family. Like, that's kind of the mentality I'm going to have, because I'm going to be in my big sad art lab all by myself, and I'm going to be thinking about all the art I could have been seeing being made in there. So I can't wait to have it full with your energy and your vibes and just all your lovely creativity. Okay, so love you guys. Art Momma Grande will be available to you by email through Yammer. They just set up the teams on our Office 365 as well. So if you haven't done that, please get to do that. And I will be putting assignments up on the teams so that you can see, like, if I'm collecting anything cyber-wise, I'll put the mark on there, and I will also put it on PowerSchool so you can see it right away, okay? I'm going to probably be sending out a, I guess, freebie assignment. Just say hi to me on the Teams app so that I know you're using it. You'll get free 10 points just for fun, okay? You just have to show me that you're using it so that I know that you are receiving what I'm sending out, okay? If you don't do it, you get a 0, which is like crazy because it's free marks, right? It's like everyone gets points, okay? So love you guys. I will talk to you soon, and I'll see you. Okay.